a favor. Melanie Daniels is one of my favorite characters ever, mostly because of how crafty she is. She gets Mitch's name and address by jotting down his license plate and having her well-connected family post tools to the DMV. Next day, she's got a pair of lovebirds and tries to drop them off at his apartment until a very trusting neighbor tells her that Mitch is actually gone for the weekend, up in Bodega Bay, 60 miles north. Cut to Melanie Daniels driving through a postcard on her way to Bodega Bay, the lovebirds swaying with her every turn in some hilarious shots that are a great example of Hitchcock's sense of humor. And if the shots of Melanie driving on the coast look familiar to you, it's probably because this was the same place they used in the opening of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Don't hit no crazy fisherman, Tippy. Now, although some backplates and establishing shots were filmed in both the actual Bodega Bay and the nearby, much smaller community of Bodega, California, most of the birds was actually shot on set at Universal Studios because Hitchcock preferred the control it gave him. They do a great job hiding it though. Like in that opening shot, it begins on location and then seamlessly transitions into an on-set shoot. Man, I love filming. Another very trusting the Bodega Bay postmaster not only tells this out of
sure.
Do you want to?
Yeah, cause I feel kind of mean, cause I'm like one.
Why don't you go with me then? Help me pick it up. If you really want to do it, and you have a whole reason, you should be wanting to go with me then. Okay? You let me know when you're ready.
You know what? They can live without it.
Huh?
They can live without it.
Where the town school teacher lives.
Yeah, everyone.
Okay. She can get the name of
Okay.
Mitch's younger sister to put on a birthday card to go.
They can live without it.
During their conversation, we learned that Mitch's sister's name is Kathy,
Well,
and that Annie here has a history with Mitch, lending an interesting edge to the conversation between these ladies.
Oh, pretty. What are they? Lovebirds. I see. Good luck, Miss Daniels.
Thank you. Melanie doesn't want to take the road to Mitch's place since it goes straight to their front door. So, insistent on surprising him, she rents a motorboat and takes the lovebirds to cross the bay and land in his backyard instead. Can you believe the backgrounds here are matte paintings? Yeah, that town's a frickin' painting done by Albert Whitlock. Great stuff. In a lengthy scene full of POV shots and not a single word of dialogue, Melanie watches from her boat as Mitch goes into a barn. While he's in there, she quickly docks and just walks straight the fuck into their house to drop off the birds and a birthday card for Kathy. Like I always say, it's not a good prank if it don't involve B&E. She gets back out to the boat and watches from afar as Mitch goes inside. When he comes back out with binoculars, he sees her making her escape, so he hops in his car and speed races back to town, beating Melanie there before she can dock. As her boat approaches, she puts on a perfect, what could ever so be the matter face, only to have it ruined by the film's first bird attack. The gall of that gall. Mitch helps her out and finds that the attack has left her bleeding, so he takes her to the nearby Tides restaurant and cleans up her wound. When he asks her what she's doing there, Melanie lies and says that she only brought the birds because she was already coming up to Bodega Bay to visit a friend.
Who's your friend?
Annie Haywood, the school teacher.
Oh, bold strategy, Melanie. Let's see if it pays off for you. The two of them get right back to sexily sparring with one another, and while Melanie is telling Mitch how much she loathes him, his mama walks in, and Lydia Brenner immediately regards Melanie with a suspicion usually reserved for a call from an unknown number. Mitch makes a power move and invites Melanie over to dinner that night, so it looks like Melanie's got a date tonight. Ooh. That means Melanie needs a Bodega Bay base, and lucky for her, Annie Hayworth just so happens to have a room for rent. The school teacher reluctantly lets Melanie stay with her, while the movie reminds us of its title. That's right, it's called The Birds. I thought it was called Classy Sexy Love Triangle. That night, Melanie heads to the Brenner house and meets Mitch's sister Kathy Brenner, who takes a real liking to Melanie because of the lovebirds she brought. So much of a liking, in fact, that she invites Melanie to her birthday party the next day. Later, Melanie admits to Mitch that she lied about knowing Annie in another conversation where the two of them teeter-totter between wanting to slap and wanting to kiss the other one's face. Melanie returns to Annie's, where they chat over a healthy pour of brandy. Annie admits that she and Mitch had a thing 4 years ago that ended because Mama Lydia was too clingy to her special boy. Annie says she's okay being just friends with Mitch right now, but while Melanie talks on the phone with him, it doesn't take a body language expert to see that's not true. Just keep it together. Hold yourself together, girl. Mitch is calling to apologize for being oafish and also to invite Melanie to Kathy's party, but she only agrees to go after discussing it with Annie.
Never mind, Lydia. Do you want to go?
Yes.
Then go.
Thank you, Annie.
Whoa, what was that? A bird. Bird? What the fuck is that? Oh yeah, this movie's called The Birds. I keep forgetting. It's time for a bangin' Bodega Bay Brenner birthday party. And while Melanie and Mitch drink more hard liquor, this time in front of a very obvious backdrop on a very obvious set, the two of them finally let on that they like each other. Which Annie is just, yeah, she's so happy for you guys. Really. Oh, and Lydia is too. Seriously, so happy. We're 52 minutes into this thing, so let's get some goddamn birds up in this bitch. Bring the beaks, Hitchy, my boy. A flock of seagulls attacks the kids, pinning some of them down and causing others to run so far away. But Mitch fights back, and the adults get all the kids inside, so no kills just yet, although the birds have definitely established a pattern now.
That makes 3 times.
Mitch has Melanie over for dinner again, and before a conversation can even get going, Melanie notices a bird by the fireplace.
Mitch?
Touré bird attack! This is one of many memorable bird attack scenes with really great special effects work for 1963. Like I mentioned, the effects were done by Ub Iwerks, an animator at Disney who, no joke, created Mickey Mouse. Like he designed that character, Mickey fucking Mouse. For these bird effects, he used some kind of super smart photochemical technique that I don't fully understand, but it involved shooting birds and other subjects against a background lit with a yellow light, with 2 different kinds of film in the camera, whose shots would then be composited together. It was called yellow screening, so let's just go with that. And fun fact, they only had to use it in this scene after the strawberry finches they loaded inside the chimney wouldn't come out and fly around like they wanted. The actors are actually batting at thin air here. Again, great effects for the pre-computer age. The Brenners had Deputy Al Malone come over, and he's not a very helpful guy.
That's a sparrow, all right.
We know what it is, Al. Well, what do you want me to do, Mitch? Arrest all the birds? Can't arrest all the birds. That's crazy. Melanie decides that with things so hectic, she might as well stay the night. And Lydia's so excited again. Yes, love it. Great. The next morning, Lydia drives over to a farmer friend's house and just walks straight the fuck in, because I guess that's how people do in Bodega Bay. She quickly discovers that he's had the same bird problem they did, only his was a bit worse, since it left him dead there. Yeah, that's how the movie did that first thing without any sound or music. Isn't that crazy? I kinda love it. I also love that we finally got a kill, even though it took a whole damn hour. Lydia flees the house and hightails it down the road to get back home and dramatically push past her son. Damn, that lady's freakout lasted so long it had a friggin' commute. Melanie agrees to help take care of Lydia, which is maybe why her and Mitch have all of a sudden advanced their relationship to first base. You know, depending on your definition of the bases. There's no universal agreement about that. Lydia finally begins to open up to Melanie, and then asks her to go check on Kathy at the schoolhouse. Wow, Melanie, you got drafted into doing Brenner family errands real damn fast.
This Friday, get ready to make some friends. In theaters and on HBO Max.
Melanie gets to the schoolhouse for another infamous scene, made memorable because of the diegetic folk tune, Gristle Dee Rossley, sung by the school children, which goes on for fucking ever. Seriously, they sing it for 3.5 minutes straight, and although it's kind of annoying, it's also a perfectly incongruent backing for the masterfully suspenseful shots of crows accumulating on the schoolhouse playground equipment. This little scene ends after a torturously long shot of Melanie that doesn't let us see how much danger she's in, until she finally looks up and we get a legit scary shot that reveals exactly how big this murder of crows has become. Melanie goes inside and tells Annie what everybody knows, that the bird is the word. So Annie formulates a plan to get her kids out of there safely.
Miss Daniels would like to see how we conduct ourselves during the fire drill.
What the hell kind of reaction is that, kids? Fire drills are awesome. They get you out of class.
Yeah.
Watch out. I'll eat you
What the hell
alive.
kind of weirdo kids are these? The bird attack begins awesome. With us only hearing it.
Kronberg, Quickfin.
Jump. That brings us to another unforgettable scene. As we
Oh
watch
boy,
this class
yeah.
of school children get attacked and pecked at by a bunch of birdy bastards on their backs. For those shots, they actually tied real birds to the college kids' clothes. And for the swooping attacks, they put bird seed in the kid's hair. It makes for a truly terrifying scene. Like that kid got it in the face. And what you doing there, little boy? That pole ain't gonna save you. Oh, and one last behind-the-scenes fact here. A lot of the effects were done by having
I like
kids
this
run on
spot.
a giant treadmill in front of that yellow screen tank. So these kids, the ones
Prepare for battle.
and question, are all running in place for a lot of these shots. During the attack, Kathy Brenner proves herself a hero by helping one particularly unfortunate deer off the ground. The two of them and Melanie are able to hop into an unlocked car and wait there until the attack subside. At the Thai restaurant, Melanie calls her dad and tells him about the bird attack, so she's not keen on this. That lady is an ornithologist. She's one of more than half a dozen characters in this diner who play out a very theatrical scene as they discuss the bird. It's a great ensemble discussion that includes harbingers of prison old sea captains, and commentary on humanity versus nature.
Birds are not aggressive creatures, miss. They bring beauty into the world. It is mankind. Dad, 3 other fried chicken.
There's also a cook played by Dallas McKenna, the guy who voiced Gumby. But my favorite dude is probably this businessman who can be a bit drunk. Skyslide on the water. Even better is when a scared mother and her children want to leave and uses to drive them home just after he slams that scotch, you know, for the road. Melanie hears some squawking, looks out the window, and dive bomb a dude filling up his car at the gas station. People rush out there, and I'm not going to put him on the count because I can't. Don't you worry. Gas from his hose leaking across the road. The car where my favorite drunk is following up that scotch jug with a cigar. Melanie and the others try to warn him, but it's too late. Oh my god, that dude just got fucking incinerated! Smoking kills. In a series
That was the end of that squad.
Shots, Melanie follows the fire as it trails back to the gas station, causing an awesome giant explosion. The effects of which can be seen from the sky in one of the coolest shots of this movie. Because, get this, half of that shot is another painting by Al Whitlock. They shot all the action with people running around at the Universal lot, and then used a painting to create the town of Bodega Bay around it. Furthermore, the seagulls that begin to swoop in here were shot separately and added later in post. Because the cameras needed to be above them, they were filmed from a clip, and the background of that shot was removed by going frame by frame and rotoscoping it out. This movie is seriously a technical wonder, and remember, this was 1963, way before computers could help out with this shit. The swarm of seagulls attacks once more, and during this assault, Melanie finds herself inside a glass cage of emotion. Although a whole bunch of people are getting pecked at here, I don't think any of them get killed. Not even the firefighter who just kind of falls and tumbles himself into fire.
Wait.
I mean, this guy comes close, but you know what? I've got faith that he'll survive.
We
Next
have a
rescues
new kill
Melanie from
leader.
the bone.
I can't wait to meet them.
The ring is distant. Trust the winds.
The Bachelor is back. Stream it live on ABC with YouTube TV.
Zoe Laverne, the 19-year-old TikToker that hooked up with a 13-year-old, had that relationship supposedly, right? You guys remember that?
Yes.
She's pregnant now? She is now
45
pregnant.
seconds until the ring closes. We've got a hike, and I'm in pumps, so let's go.
No, not the 13-year-old. We do have evidence of who the actual guy is. We have pictures of him. We're on his Instagram. It's as crazy as a 19-year-old who gets a girl pregnant can be. Like, it's the Instagram.
Because if it was a 13-year-old, I would have walked into his house and given him a firm.
Our champion has
What? Oh, why?
No. What do you mean?
That can't congratulate the man, bro. That's wrong, and it's not.
Oh, yeah.
What
That's wrong.
13-year-old can take care of a kid? Stupid.
Have you seen 13 and pregnant? No, 16. Dude, the show on TLC was 16 and pregnant. It wasn't even 13 and pregnant.
They can go on the show and get paid for it.
Oh, that's how it works? Or you go on the show and you get paid for it.
Basically. Get like all the national facilities, basically.
Until the show stops and they pay for it. Yeah. That's when they start a vlogging channel, though. Yeah. Alright, guys, make sure to subscribe. And then the entire story. You guys remember from the okay. Zoe Laverne did a funeral. 13-year-old. They started getting together. The videos came out of them kissing. Then Zoe Laverne did that rant about Charlotte D'Amelio about how she was supposed to be the first. I don't know overall this girl just doesn't seem great.
Yeah. She's a little cuckoo in the head.
A little bit.
Tap it.
Yeah. Alright, follow us on Instagram. We have a lot going on. The biggest thing is follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Spotify.
Let's go here.
Listen to us there soon.
Forget it.
We're dropping the
Checking out what's over there. If I need you, you'll know.
Alright, let's get to it, boys. Ready to go? Woo! Zoe Laverne posted really excited to watch my baby grow.
Bro, this just makes me
What the hell is going on?
This is a baby mama talk right now.
Yeah.
It's like a baby mama Facebook story.
It's like something you see when like someone gets pregnant by Playboy. You know what I'm saying?
Right? Like, I'm real sassy my baby girl.
I love that she knew that people were gonna believe her, so she gets chewed.
I mean,
Like she double confirmed.
I mean, we don't even know. That could be somebody else's test.
I mean, I feel pregnant right now, so like.
What?
I mean, I want views, so I want to be fucking pregnant.
Okay, Berg. I fully support you wanting to get pregnant. I'm down. Any step of the way, bro. I got you as a
Dude,
friend.
I'm not gonna lie though, if Berkeley did get pregnant, like man pregnant, that would.
Dude, you know what these views would get?
You wouldn't get like maternity leave.
I know.
You'd have to continue through the
But the
labor.
views
Yeah.
on TikTok, I'd be like, I'm the first one.
But you ever seen like a reporter lady pregnant and doing work still?
Yeah.
She's not on. She's still gotta work.
I know, but I'm not saying
hella views on TikTok because I would have a regular ass belly.
Okay. Like I said, I support you every step of the way, bro, but...
Jump drive in position.
Alright, let's get back into it. Yeah, alright. Joey Laverne posted this video when Child stopped saying otherwise. How would that even make any kind of sense? Connor's 13, nothing else happened besides a kiss. Mind your own business.
Wow. I mean, I guess congrats then, sure. Congrats.
Half the squads are down. There's a fool killed every minute. New kill leader? Interesting.
I'm like, they're demented. I mean, yeah, it is a little fucking weird. Like, I'm not really
A 13-year-old and a 19-year-old?
No, I'm saying, like, two 19-year-olds still. It's so young, man. They're both 19 years old. Yeah, that's fucking weird.
It is fucking weird. And I don't know how they're going to explain it to the kid, but whatever. I don't
explain to the kid just has to go in, like, tea room. Or watch one of our episodes and get a whole recap of their kid, their mom.
Hey, Laverne from at least 13 years from now.
Yeah.
What's up?
Oh, dude. I swear to God, like, when he's like 13, he's gonna look back at all the videos about his mom. Definitely see one of our videos.
Yeah. He or she.
He or she, yeah. Alright, so what's up, kid Laverne, like the young Laverne? We did talk about your mom. I'm sure you're watching this video. We did report on the fact that your mom's a complete crackhead. Yeah.
That.
Like, well, seriously, imagine this kid's watching this right now.
Put it right here. It's hot. Let it cool off. Okay?
Yep, I barely even touched it. But it didn't like burn me, but kind of was warm. Slight little touch.
I'm sorry for Kai's behavior, right?
Huh?
Why is it wet right here?
I don't know.
Behavior right now is being out of control. I'm sorry. We love you. We want to come to your, like, we want to your basketball games, your whatever.
If they don't work out, we'll be the.
We will be. Yeah.
Knockdown shield here. Level 2. Only the best for my friends.
Snacks after the baseball. Look at these oranges after the football games.
Anything you want.
When you turn 17, you're the one buying the liquor, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, shit, you know?
When we get the milk, we'll come back.
Yes, exactly. Maybe. I mean, it's not an uncle's job to get you your milk, okay?
Alright, let's get back into it. She also says the amount of people that have the guts to talk shit about an unborn child is so upsetting and heartbreaking really shows the generation we're in. Now a lot of you weren't raised right.
See what she's talking about Kai.
Yeah. What? Yeah, she's like, fuck you, Kai.
She literally thought of Kai's face in the sync up. Just like as soon as she wrote
How?
that.
You are the one who goes into her the most about what you've done.
What? No.
Dun,
Oh?
dun,
You think it's me?
dun.
What
Yes.
have I said? Do you remember
I think
anything
it's both of you guys, actually.
Do you remember anything that either of us have said that's been bad?
The past 20 minutes of talking.
Yeah. Just rewind this whole
Rewind.
video. Rewind this whole. Because all I remember is you calling her an ungrateful bitch one time when she was complaining about Charlie having more numbers than you.
That was just
petty.
young Laverne.
Because it was your uncle. I'm your uncle now.
Welcome to
It
the
was
shop.
petty. At the
I've
time,
got just the
actually, a
thing
lot of
for you.
followers that your mother had. Because somebody else had more followers.
Jesus. I don't mind you at all.
Mama's got a brand new bag.
You did a reverse Uno.
Your lovely mother is being chastised by your uncles right now. I'm Yeah, I'm gonna give him a PlayStation. I'm gonna give him a little.
Pokemon's around when that little dude's grown up.
Alright, let's get back into it. You said y'all are really too much and y'all want to piss on another one while live. Let me know so you can feel.
Wow. You are really going to that.
Shit. I'm not gonna lie. This is a whole new level of drama, bro. You're literally letting people follow you pissing on a pregnancy test.
Yeah, this is fake as. She's literally only doing this for views. Like
that's not true, bro. Because when they have the baby, the views are gonna go up even more.
Yeah, but when she doesn't have the baby, everyone's gonna be like, oh, you fucking
Why
liar.
do you think she's lying right now?
Oh, she's a lying piece of shit right now.
No.
Why
Baby.
is she lying about a fucking baby?
9 months from now, just looking for his face, like, I guess she was right.
She has like triplets. It's like what? If she has kids, I will walk out of this fucking door. I'll be like, alright, each is your own. Get out of here.
But honestly, I'm kind of with Brick on this one. I think it's kind of fake.
No, she's lying.
There's no way.
Phillips Evans anti-collar with air-free bin.
Oh,
Well, no,
She hasn't been in the news at all, and all she wants to do is be on TikTok TV. And the only way for her to get that is to fake being like.
Which is crazy because she can dance or like talk or like be normal because she has millions of followers.
You know how many followers she got for
No.
being like making out with Connor and all that drama?
How much?
A shit ton.
Yeah.
Like
You
probably
gain
a million.
followers from being a groomer?
Apparently Zoe Laverne does.
Dude, this is telling me Zoe's that person that would go live while she's giving birth.
What?
Right? Like, dude, she's doing this.
Crazy. I can just hear the.
Oh, God. The boyfriend posted a picture of them two together and said, please leave us alone. Connor had nothing to do with the baby. Fucking
Bro, no.
What a point in life when you have to justify that the 13-year-old is involved. Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
It's just like, then you have to put it in the caption so everyone knows.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
He writes like 13-year-old not involved and like hashtag baby coming, hashtag engaged.
Yeah.
I speak
That dude's gonna fucking, dude, that guy's good. This guy just seems too young to be a dad. Like, he just seems like he'd have missed the.
It's like fucking Maddie B. Raps.
Yo,
Like,
Maddie B.
what the
Raps is
fuck?
gonna be a dad.
Yeah, Maddie B. Raps is literally gonna be that. We found Maddie B. Raps. He's fucking Zoe Laverne, and he's having a kid.
Who the fuck is Maddie B. Raps?
You don't know Maddie B. Raps?
No.
Dude, he's like, oh my, you don't know.
Oh, I know. It's the fucking cringy dude that raps.
Yeah, you don't know the legend, Maddie B?
He's not a legend, and that's he looks like Justin Bieber in 010.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fuck.
You don't remember the legend Maddie B. Raps?
Fuck you. I do. He's not a fucking legend. I don't.
I heard he's coming back and doing like King Von covers. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be insane.
No, not even like, please, no.
You know that would
Shut up fucking YouTube if that
that would
happens.
like you break the internet, bro.
Yeah.
It's just like Vaughn,
That would be the
bro.
whitest shit ever. It'd be like,
Vaughn.
Vaughn.
it'd be like, what the fuck?
Vaughn.
He comes back into Sakashi too, does everything Gooba. Guys, we want to cover that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did,
Gooba.
please subscribe to the notification bell. If you guys want to follow
Gooba.
us on Instagram, follow us. It'll be linked down below. The biggest
Gooba,
video
Scooba,
Siren
my
podcast
Dooba.
out. Listen to it on Spotify. It's gonna be released.
Literally, it takes
Buh.
10 seconds. It is seriously so easy.
It takes only 2 clicks to install. Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and am I having deja vu, or am I about to talk about Carrie? Oh, it's just another remake, this one from 2013. Yes, we've made it to the final Carrie, after a TV remake and a sequel that occasionally felt
The reason
like
I'm eating with my hands right now
we have another
is
remake
because my
set in the
fork is made out of
2010s,
metal and it's like burning hot.
4 talented actors.
And whenever I
all
touch it, it like
make
stings
the
my
famous role,
hand.
Carrietta White is played by Chloe Grace Moretz, and while Moretz is obviously a talented actor, it's hard for me to buy into her as Carrie White. Yeah, I know that's not a unique criticism, but it's how I really feel. She doesn't have the off-putting fragility of Sissy Spacek or the acerbic weirdness of Angela Bettis. She just seems like a normal girl acting like an outcast. You know, the stereotypical nerdy girl in rom-coms who takes off her glasses and is all of a sudden beautiful. Aside from that casting, I'm also annoyed that this iteration of Carrie doesn't try to do anything new, despite what director Kimberly Peirce of Boys Don't Cry fame says here.
There was just a chance to do it differently.
The 2002 TV movie, for all its faults, incorporated that after-the-fact framing device and a bunch of scenes from the novel that weren't in the original movie. The 2013 Carrie mostly just takes everything from the De Palma film and redoes it all with new actors and smartphones. It never experiments with the material enough to justify existing. So, to me, it feels like an entirely unnecessary remake that doesn't offer any reason for me to watch it over the original. Except maybe the fact that some of its kills are a bit more graphic. So, I might as well show you those, right? The movie begins at the White House. Well, this blue house, not like the White House. You know what I mean. It's a house of wet Bibles and painful pregnancies. So painful that Margaret White thinks it's cancer. But unless this is June or July, it's not a cancer at all. It's just a widow baby. Damn it, Margaret, no scissors around the widow baby. Especially not the face, come on. And it's probably meant to be at least a little ambiguous, but I don't think baby Carrie stopped those scissors with her mind. I think Margaret had a last-minute change of heart. And good thing she did, because now that baby can grow up to be a title card. She actually grows up to be Chloe Grace Moretz, this movie's Carrie White, who's scorned and or ignored by the popular kids in school like Chris Hargensen, Sue Snell, and Tommy Ross. The gym class volleyball game becomes a water sport this time around, but that doesn't improve Carrie's skills at all, nor, of course, her social standing.
You eat shit!
The infamous locker room scene is not as skintastic as De Palma's, which makes sense given that Moretz was an actual teenager here.
I am a 15-year-old girl.
Yeah, way younger in the role than Sissy Spacek, who was 24, and Angela Bettis, who was 29. Carrie White finds some red on her sew and her hands, and that freaks her out something special. But the other kids in the locker room only respond by throwing tampons at her and recording their bullying on their phones. sounds like some interference is needed by Coach Desjardins, played here by Judy Greer, Kill Count alumnus thanks to Jurassic World and Halloween 2018. With one vintage slap to the face, she calms the situation down, just not enough to avoid an overhead light popping off. They go to the principal's office, where Desjardins tries to comfort Carrie, but the girl is still in a glass-shattering mood. Wait, was that glass? Yeah, that sounded like glass. Who has a glass water tank? That'd be so heavy. Margaret comes to pick Carrie up from school, pausing only to cast scorn upon the horny teenagers around her, namely Chris Hargensen and her boyfriend Billy Nolan, whose actor Alex Russell gives us the most threatening variation of the character. The Whites get home, and Margaret goes inside first, so Carrie can be alone in the car when that bike kid comes around.
Crazy Carrie! Crazy Carrie!
Wouldn't be Carrie without a doucher on a bike. Or off a bike, I guess.
T-Mobile is upgrading its network at a record pace. We were the first to bring 5G.
In this remake, Margaret is played by Julianne Moore, previously on the Kill Count in The Lost World Jurassic Park. Moore's Margaret is a highlight of the film, mostly because she's such a different depiction than Piper Laurie's over-the-top fundamentalist. This Margaret White has issues that lead to self-harm, but her relationship towards Carrie feels less rooted in hatred.
It's not out of being abusive, it's not out of being hateful. They love each other.
It's a different, manipulative take on the character, but one that still sees her blame Carrie's period on her having sinned.
I'm not Eve, Mama. I didn't sin.
Listen, Carrie, the only book learning we do here is Bible learning. Get it through your head. When Carrie continues to talk back, she earns a complimentary ticket to the praying closet, to which she says, "Let me out," instead of "in." Henrietta White, we do not digitally crack open doors in this house. Is that what Bleeding Bod Jesus would have wanted? I didn't think so. That night, Sue Snell is feeling real bad about how she treated Carrie. She tells her boyfriend Tommy Ross about it, and they have a conversation from the book where he tells her about a time when he too was a dick too far. Good material for the character, especially as delivered by a 19-year-old Ansel Elgort in his first ever film role. With that one scene, Sue and Tommy have established that they're good kids, unlike Chris and Billy, and Chris's best friend Tina Blake, who go on the old YouTubes and upload their video of Carrie getting bullied.
Favorite movie?
Bloodsport.
Wait, what?
Favorite drink? Bloody Mary.
What the? YouTube's not a dating app. Those aren't fields you have to fill out. At school, Miss Desjardins lines up the girls in gym class and tells them what she thinks of their recent actions.
You all did a shitty thing yesterday.
She tells them they have a choice between physical detention with her or a disinvitation to prom. But Chris Hargensen's not a fan of lateral exercises, so she tells Desjardins to fuck off. Chris is unable to rally the troops to her side, leaving her as the only one suspended, even though she doesn't understand why.
We didn't do anything wrong.
Yep, nothing wrong with this, you dummy. Carrie gets upset by her everyday bullying, so she goes into a bathroom and cracks apart a mirror with her mind. Ooh, and she making some Meerschaert soup in the sink? Neat. Intrigued by this capability, she researches miracles and telekinesis so that later on, in her room, she can practice her newfound talent. I guess all she needed was an extended hand and a silly face, and she was ready to be an X-Man. X-Woman Mutant. Wow, Carrie, you've already got Luke post-Dagobah skills. This was one scene where Pierce briefly experimented with practical effects, putting the books on strings and using fishing poles to make them float. She didn't like the way it looked, though, so they went with visual effects instead. In class, Carrie is picked on by a teacher until Tommy comes to her defense.
Asshole. Excuse me, Mr. Ross. Did you say something? I said awesome.
That act of chivalry gains Carrie's attention and gets the gears turning in Sue's old snail shell. Meanwhile, Chris Hargensen has her lawyer dad meet with Principal Morton. He's played by Hart Dockner, probably based off his performance as a slimy yuppie in Die Hard. But it's worth noting that he too is a Kill Count graduate, having played the head prankster in Terror Train. Mr. Hargensen tries to get Coach Desjardins fired, but he's unable to do that, or get Chris her prom privileges restored, because there's hard evidence of Chris's awfulness in the form of that video on YouTube, idiot kids. Chris complains to her friends, and when Sue stands up for Carrie, Chris questions her sincerity, saying she's only being nice so she can still go to prom. To prove Chris wrong and comfort her guilty conscience, Sue comes up with a plan and snells it out to Tommy.
What's up?
I want you to take Carrie White to prom.
Even though he'd rather go with Sue, Tommy can tell how much this would mean to her, so he cool guy walks his way down the hallway, high-fiving peers and faculty alike, until he gets to Carrie's lonely lunch table and graces her with his cool guy presence. He asks her to prom, a request she can't even understand.
What?
Prom.
And her skepticism leads her to flee. She's not looking to be the butt of another joke. She tells Desjardins about Tommy's proposal, leading to some great multifaceted face acting from Judy Greer.
Wow, Tommy Ross?
And the gym teacher encourages optimism in the girl. After all, with some makeup and posture adjustment, Carrie could make a fine date for the T-Man. Just to be sure, though, Desjardins warns Tommy and Sue that they better not be setting up Carrie to get pranked, or there'll be Snell to pay. Gotta love Elgort as a well-meaning but kinda dense Tommy Ross.
Famous athletes like Tim Tebow, he takes kids to prom all the time, and everyone loves him for it.
Aside from the lead role, this movie's shortcomings are no fault of its stars. To make sure Sue's satisfied, Tommy goes to Carrie's house and secures her as a date by saying the poem she read in class was cool. Carrie tells her mom about her prom plans later, saying she's gonna go because she doesn't want to be the weird kid anymore.
I have to try and be a whole person. Or it's too late.
Mama White don't trust Tommy's intentions, though, and she tells Carrie she needs to get back in the closet. But Carrie's out and proud now, brazenly showing off her superhero powers in a way that Moretz compared to conducting a symphony. I'm not a huge fan of how it looks, but at least they didn't go with the version of this scene where Carrie moves her mom around like she's playing a fucking crane game. Billy Nolan and his bros take Chris out to a pig farm so they can collect a bunch of blood to epically prank Carrie White. His pal Jackie Talbot's unable to do the deed, so Billy takes over and starts things off with a kiss that allegedly got actor Alex Russell sick because there were pig droppings present on the sledgehammer. I couldn't verify that info, but I had to mention it anyway. Chris finishes the job with a psychopathic swine stab because Portia Doubleday's Chris Hargensen is kind of cartoonishly evil sometimes. They take that pig's blood into the school and string it up using a pulley system, all while an unsuspecting Carrie White works on her dress with no risk of sore calves. You know, even with Margaret praying in the background, I'd much rather be Carrie getting ready for the dance at home than stuck in this cliche cool kid montage backed by Vampire Weekend. Nothing against Vampire Weekend, I actually like them quite a bit, but I just can't stand manufactured coolness like this. The screenplay for this remake was co-written by two dudes. First, the original film screenwriter, Lawrence Cohen, which explains why it's so similar to the De Palma film. And secondly, Roberto Aguirre Sacasa, which explains why it feels so CW a lot of the time. Seeing as Aguirre Sacasa is the man who brought us Riverdale and the chilling adventures of Sabrina. Margaret tries to manipulate Carrie into staying home, but ain't no one about to turn down a free limo ride, so Carrietta heads downstairs to leave. When Max tries to stop her some more, Carrie uses her powers to silence her mom and slide her on backwards into the prayer closet. And stay in there! She tells her mom she loves her, just not enough to let her leave, then steps out onto the porch to get baby driven to prom. They get to the school, and after a last-minute wardrobe adjustment, head inside the gym, where the Naked and Famous is waiting to score their entrance. Desjardins fucking loves Indietronica! Carrie has a friendly chat with the gym teacher and a romantic slow dance with Tommy. So, all in all, you could call this prom a twirly-whirly success. Aw, Carrie, you're a hit, girl! If only we could roll credits now. But we can't, so we've got to watch things fall apart. At home, Margaret White bloodily claws her way out of the closet, and at school, Tina Blake lets Chris and Billy in so they can climb into the rafters and get ready to pull that robe. The voting for prom royalty begins, and Tommy convinces Carrie that they should vote for themselves.
To the devil with false modesty.
To Satan! The votes are tallied up while Passion Pit plays. God damn it, you made me buy this soundtrack too! And, knowing the eventual results, Chris sends Sue an ominous text, which sends the Snells speeding towards the high school. She gets there just in time to hear Tommy and Carrie announce prom king and queen, and as they step up onto the stage, Sue notices the bucket hanging over their heads like so many swords of Damocles. Sue tries to Snell out that something's going on, but she's tossed out of the gym by Desjardins, right as Billy and Chris finally get their faulty pulley system going. The bucket of blood out all over Carrie, covering her so nice they have to show us thrice. And no wonder they wanted to replay it a bunch in the film. They spent a ton of time testing about 50 different ways to get the perfect blood dump.
It was like 5 feet above her, 3 feet above her. It was like thick blood, it was thin blood.
A pretty striking contrast to De Palma, by the way, who just had Jack Fisk pour out a bucket of blood from a ladder. That was back when studios were a lot more hands-off, and directors could get away with just winging stuff like that. The Mean Girls then project the locker room incident onto the wall, bringing that cell phone video back, but only in a superfluous way. This is actually an example of why this movie misses the mark for me. They had an opportunity to update the story and explore the contemporary issue of cyberbullying, but it's only used as window dressing. They never do anything interesting with it. Like, they add it to the movie, but it doesn't add anything to the movie, you know? They had other opportunities to be different too. For instance, they could have explored the class divide between Carrie and her peers, which is a topic Kimberly Pierce dealt with in Boys Don't Cry, but it's only barely hinted at in this movie. I don't know, man. I just like to see things that are different, not clones of things with new technology. With the whole gym laughing at Carrie, just like Margaret warned of, Chris and Billy get the hell out of there, leaving their pulley system behind, which falls apart and sends the bucket down into Tommy's head. As we all know by now, this kills the poor boy dead. But I will say that this version is the most convincingly fatal of them all. Desjardins goes to hell, only to get force-pushed away, and after Carrie realizes that Tommy's no longer among the living, it's time for her to get wild and wacky with her powers.
Are you seeing this?
Yeah, I'm seeing it. Carrie looks like an alien clown who just got stabbed in the head, and her pupils have a heartbeat? That's weird. Carrie delivers a psionic blast that knocks everyone down in an effect that combines 6 different shots of various practical and digital things being blown all around. It's a cool use of technology, but it still looks kind of cartoony to me. It does give us another kill, though, when student Heather Shires is sent headfirst into a glass window. And yes, her name was Heather Shires here, not Helen Shires like the character from the book and the other 2 movies. More modern name, I guess? Carrie locks everyone inside the gym and stops an attempted escape via bleachers while crushing Jackie Talbot to death within them. She then kills nerdy prom videographer Freddie Holt by sending a table into his face. Fred Holt. Carrie revels in her powers and activates the fire sprinklers before turning her attention to Mean Girl twins Nikki and Lizzie Watson. She knocks them to the ground and they get trampled to death by their peers, dying on the floor right beside each other. Aw, that's almost nice. Carrie knocks down the lights next and triggers a fire. We see another random dude dead on the gym floor as people run around. And then Carrie goes after Tina Blake with a flaming decoration. Though she misses with her initial attack, she uses electrical cables as whips to send Chris's bestie backwards into the flame, giving us an awesome fire stunt where she looks like a flaming windmill. I love it. Carrie lifts Desjardins up by her throat, but turns out it was to save her from the wet electric floor she's making right now. Let's see, I can count 10 figures zip-zap-zopping around in this mess, so that's how many I'll put on the count. 8 dudes and 2 ladies, from what I can tell. Carrie doesn't risk electrocuting herself, though, because she just kind of flies right on over it. Man, but why she gotta have such a weird look on her face? Close your mouth up, Care Bear. At this point, the school is one big flaming pile of fuck. But that's not gonna stop Carrie from going after who she sees were the architects of her humiliation. Chris and Billy are planning on leaving town and never coming back, but Carrie's waiting with her weird face and a heavy foot to crack open the ground and stop their escape. Their car is nearly swallowed up into the earth, but instead they turn around and head straight towards Carrie Adam.
Kill her, Billy, kill her.
Shut up, I got this.
Carrie says Billy don't got this, though, and her superpowers kill Billy Nolan with a slow-motion head slam against the steering wheel. Sorry, Chris, that boy dead. But hey, at least he won't have to pay those 2013 gas prices anymore. It doesn't take long for Carrie to dispatch a Chris as well, after she tries in vain to run the girl over once more. Carrie opens her mouth and raises that car up, then lets Chris drive it straight into the gas station for a Mortal Kombat X-ray kill. Holy shit! The accident leaves Chris's face stuck in the windshield, and she apparently dies right there. But just in case, might as well double tap her with an explosion. Right, Carrie? Cool. Sue Snell and Desjardins are 2 of the many survivors we see outside the school. In fact, there are so many, I have to assume that the only people who died are the ones I saw and counted. No triple-digit casualty lists here. Carrie walks back home and is all like, here's Carrie, only to find that her mama's no longer where she left her. Upstairs, she bathes, washing off all the pig's blood, and with tubby time complete, she finds and hugs her mom, apologizing Margaret to reconcile with the sinful fruit of her loins, so she tricks Carrie into joining her for a prayer and then stabs her right in the back. Oh shit! The two of them split apart like they're opposite charges of a magnet, and even though Margaret's heaven-bent on killing the supposed spawn of Satan, Carrie's able to stop the knife from crashing into her face, this time definitely using her powers. She floats her mom upward and gets all Matrixy to surround her with utensils, and with one last apology, she sends them all into Margaret White's body. The overzealous mother is pinned against the prayer closet with her arms outstretched like JC, and she dies quickly and quietly with none of Piper Laurie's moans of ecstasy.
Hello?
Hello?
Ethan,
What?
you wanna play Fortnite with me or my friend?
Who's your friend?